Good morning, Big Brother Hometown Viewing Lounge. Oh, not my special guest leaving the stream. Oh, not this. Not this. I wasn't prepared to do this alone. I imagine they will be back soon enough. There he is. Spoiler alert, it's a man. We are here with another edition of Morning Tea with CLC, being pre-recorded, so if I'm not acknowledging your comments on the YouTube stream, it's not that I don't love you. It's that I'm in a meeting with the CEO of my company, and I have to be there, and I can't do this at 10:30 live. We're here to discuss, what is this, day 24 in the house? Honestly, I couldn't remember because it's just Groundhog's Day. Every day is the same here. Dan, Angelica, and Hammond getting their way. Once again, having to do little to no work to get what they want. Good on them. But it's day 24, and I'm not here alone to talk about the travesty that is Big Brother Hometowns 15. And if you don't want to talk about Big Brother Hometowns 15, subscribe to the YouTube page. There are many way better seasons than this that you can watch on the YouTube page. Honestly, almost all of them are better than this season as of right now. So I highly recommend those. Big Brother Hometowns YouTube page, all the seasons are there except for season 14. We'll get that edited soon after the season's done. But bring on my special guest. He has some words to say all the way from Australia. It's our BBH8 alumni, Billy Stevens.
Hello, and I stand by what I say. Consultant, I hope you watch this. Okay.
For the record, I pitched for you to be on the cast because I thought it would be someone to have in the earlier seasons who needs a second chance, and I was politely told, maybe not this time.
Hopefully another time, whatever happens, nonetheless. You know, I honestly, I'm pretty confident I would have been absolutely murdered at like 17th, 16th, some shit like that. So probably for the best.
Well, baby, how this is going, yeah, because you're not, best friends with these people. Yeah, it sounds like you would have been yeeted the hell out of here very early on because you're not friends with them.
Yeah, honestly, it would have been for the best.
This season.
Oh, can we talk about the good? Can we talk about the good thing first?
What is the good thing? Oh, Anthony.
Yes, very much so. Yes. I'm not sure if there's much to discuss beforehand because it's the same shit. Fucking.
I mean, I have a few things to discuss before we get to the good thing. I was like, what is the good thing? It is. The beginning of the day starts with just more fallout from Lee's HOH. I think people underestimated how big of a plan this was. I think people like Blake and Ashton and Hammond and Dan and Angelica really underestimated, and they kind of were under the impression that this was just a move that was rooted in like personal vendetta against Angelica, and that he was making a very rash decision at the time. But as the morning of day 24 begins, they're starting to learn like, oh no, this man has been telling the entire side of the house that he was doing this like for days in advance. Like they're learning that this was like not a in the moment decision, that he has been planning this for days and days and days, and they're starting to realize that this house is more divided than they initially suspected. This is not a fluid house, that this is indeed a house that has sides to it. And this will be a prevailing storyline as we look forward, because after this eviction, everyone is talking about the sides, who's on which side, who's sitting in the middle, and who needs to go to kind of pave their path forward. So as much as we've, shat on Lee for his shit HOH, because trust me, it's bad. He has opened up this game a lot. Not for him.
Oh, he's fucked. It's just like
he's done. He's done.
Talking about throwing, thank God the line is drawn, because I've been really sick of these. What's the word? Like, just these friends fucking singing Kumbaya and shit like that. Like, they're finally starting to realize, okay, this is a game. There are people who are against me, people who were for this plan and were more than willing to take action, So thank you, Lee, for doing that, and curse you for literally everything else that happened. But I do agree. However, in terms of that, there's also a negative where there is a bigger majority than like people were sort of voting for this plan to work. Like the side that this plan wants to work are smaller group and seeing everything play out. They didn't get their way with the original nominations, and it's a very draining feeling. It is also a testament to how well the other side are playing. Hammond, Dan, Angelica, Blake, Ashton. The list goes on. It's just, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there for now.
Yeah, it's draining. I mean, trust me, we played a game together where we were on the bottom for the entire merge. We sat together.
How tired were we?
It's exhausting. It's exhausting to feel like you do everything right.
Remember we had that one opportunity to change that and just simply targeted each other.
Because we were so tired, we weren't thinking logically. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it's exhausting to do everything right and to be constantly just kicked while you're down and being like, and nope. Yeah, at this point, like Carly, Tommy, Tay, Anna, Anthony are all just constantly saying, they're like, we're just buying time at this point. They're like, we're in no shot to win this game. Like, we're literally just like, every round we're not nominated is like, cool, another day in this house. Like, I'm not, like, nothing's going my way. Like, nothing will ever go my way. And I feel for them because, like, they try and try and try. And it's like that stupid, I don't know if it's a Geico commercial, but it's the dude with the fishing line. It's like the $1 bill, and he like keeps like floating it in front of the person. He's like, "You gotta be quicker than that." Like, these people, like Lee, has been like dangling, like, "Ooh, false hope! Ooh, false hope!"
Yeah,
and like they get their hopes up to just be like, just demolished.
The term blue balls has been used quite often.
I mean, I would just call it piss poor jury management, but you can call it blue balls.
Oh, absolutely. It's this, it's also the detriment. It's also the detriment because I'm gonna be real. Like, I do see a lot of Lee and how he plays. I do see a lot of how I've done it in the past as well, and how I just did in my recent game as well. It sucks because playing with your heart and playing with everything you have does something to the brain, and like people take advantage of that, and people are able to convince you way easier. Like, you can't blame Lee from a personal standpoint whatsoever, because a lot of these people, if not everyone here, are his friends. It's just being able to step back and look at it from a game standpoint, and unfortunately, he failed to see that. But he also. It was also to his detriment. It was to the detriment of the people that really wanted to and needed to work with him at that point, and who he should have been working with.
Exactly. Like, he disregarded the people who actually wanted to work with him in face of his friends. And he said after his veto yesterday, he's like, everyone who's judging me for making a shit move, like, it's hard to like backstab your friends. And like, I get it. Trust me. Like, I play with my friends too. It's hard to backstab them. But you know what I don't go do? Go run around saying I'm going to go backstab my friends and then not do it. Yes, I instead stick with my friends. Like, I don't think anyone's issue with Lee is that he didn't go for Dan and Angelica. I don't think anyone's issue is with that.
If he just said that, if he was just straight up and wasn't leaking everything and wasn't like running his mouth, even if he just kept silent about it, told a few people, didn't really say. But I guess like a couple people that would keep it secret and then just do and make the move. People will respect that. People would obviously be angry. Like, fair enough, you're angry. Like, someone backs up you, but like, it's a good fucking move. Don't run your mouth. Just walk the walk. If you talk,
exactly. Our issue is the fact that you went and talked this big game and then cowered it away at any sight of aversion to what you wanted to do. So it's just it's frustrating. But leading into the veto, we have Danny and Lee on call discussing what basically Lee wants to do for this round. And basically, he starts off saying that he wants Tay or Anthony to come off and wants to put up Dan in his place, but acknowledges that if somehow AJ wins the veto and he comes off, that he would like to put up Angelica. This plan soon leaks to quite literally everyone in the house. Danny tells Angelica that he wants to use the veto on Anthony or Tay, but doesn't tell necessarily who would go up in their place. Angelica's like, well, we need to ensure that AJ stays, and Danny's like, no, he wants AJ to go. He wants AJ to go along with the renom and have Anthony and Tay still stay in this game. Angelica obviously tells Dan. Danny then tells Blake. Blake then tells Ashton. Blake then tells Hammond. Like, it gets around to everybody, and basically what Lee has done now is ensured the fact that all of them are going to come together, and they've all basically pre-agreed that whoever the renom is, we have to vote to save them.
Whatever happens, whatever happens, even if it does or doesn't work, via that, Lee gets blood on his hands, and there's nothing
exactly.
He can do about it.
Exactly. They make that plan. Yeah. They're like, fuck it, we're not going
to welcome to Big Brother Hometowns 15 telephone edition, where everyone just fucking passes right through the line.
Exactly. And like I don't know why he thought to tell anybody this in this house, because it's become very clear that nothing is sacred in this house. Anything you say gets around to literally anybody.
It's also a matter of reputation, where Lee sort of kind of like, doesn't really keep his mouth shut. So there's a very few select, if not anyone, in that house that will pay him that same way. That will keep his secret. So
yeah,
it's just a position that he's put himself into.
Exactly, and here becomes a little bit of the beginning of what should have been an indication to Lee here about what he should do at the end of this day. Because Blake tells Ashton about the plan, and Ashton's like, hey, like, if he puts up Angelica, my vote is locked. No doubt in my mind, I'm saving Angelica under any circumstances. But she's saying, hey, if it's Dan versus Tay, I'm going to have a harder time saving Dan here. Also, she expresses something that we talked about on yesterday's morning tea about her in regards to Hammond and her loyalty to Hammond, that's dwindling a little bit, and how her loyalty is more coming to Blake. But she's like, hey, like, I will vote with where you want, but like, if it's Dan versus Tay, you're going to have to really work with me on that, because she loves Tay and she doesn't want to lose Tay, and she's not that close to Dan. Additionally, Lee talks to Blake about it directly instead of Blake hearing it through the grapevine. And Blake's like, hey, like, I'm going to be real with you. Whoever you're putting up, I'm going to save them. Like, I'm just letting you know this out the gate.
As he should.
As he should. Very happy for that. And Lee just starts to get very disappointed about, how he's done this entire round, and feeling like all of his allies are ditching him. But I mean, like, come on, dude, you kind of earned it. He then gets on a call with Carly, and Carly's like, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. You're never recovering from this. Like, you're done in this game. Carly just lays it out. She's like, no one respects you in this game anymore. You've burned everyone. No one wants to work with you. And I think this is the moment where things change even worse for Lee. Because this is where he.
How does it get worse? Yeah. How do you dig from rock bottom? Like, that's impossible.
Oh, don't you worry, because here's where Lee's jury management gets even fucking worse, because now that he's in the mindset of, oh, well, I can't win. Like, I've done everything. Like, I can't win anymore. Danny's my number one gal in this game. I will do anything I can for Danny. And he knows that Danny wants AJ around. So he calls AJ and goes, hey, if I veto you off the block, will you vote to save Tay? Obviously, AJ has a very strong relationship with Tay. This is a very easy deal for him to get behind. He then makes a trio chat called the Save AJ chat with AJ, Lee, and Danny. And basically, they have like an hour and a half long call where Lee basically says he will do anything he can to ensure that AJ is here. If that means him using the direct veto on AJ to take him off the block, or if somehow a nominee is to win the power veto, he will put up whoever on the block as a replacement to ensure AJ stays. Which, spoiler alert, does not happen. But he says on an hour and a half, dangling hope in front of Danny and AJ that they're going to, get what they want. They're both are going to be here another day. Which I think is about
basically, I'm just starting to realize you were saying this before, but basically this entire episode is a Geico commercial.
Quite literally, it really is. Like it is.
Not just this episode, but like this is the pure definition of it. Lee,
it's like the last episode of Lost, where you wake up and it's just a dream. Like, there are moments where I'm like, this has to be just a dream, right? Like, this man can't be this ridiculously dumb to He promised to use the veto on Tay. He's now promising to use on AJ. He's now told people he's using on Anthony. He's now, luckily for him, he doesn't.
He had his original plan set. He let his emotions get in the way. It screwed him up. Carly said that, okay, you're fucked, GG. Lee said, okay, new plan. Let's go sort that out. But instead of sorting it for me, I'm going to sort it out for someone else. And instead, he makes new promises that fucks his game even further up. Like,
even worse. Like, it's just it was very hard to watch last night. And I mean, why we did not stream pretty much anything last night was, everyone was crying because everyone has been dangled so much false hope by Lee Farrell. Like, yes, the vote is hard. Like, when the vote ends up becoming between Angelica, Tay, and AJ, these are people that are beloved in the house. Angelica has a huge following. Tay is loved by basically. Like, Angelica has a huge following of people that want to work with her. Obviously, it was very easy for her to come up with the 5 votes. Those 5 people were dying to save her. Tay is loved by everyone. AJ is loved by everyone. Like, this is a hard vote, but it also did not help with the fact that this entire house, based on when they talked to Lee, had a different impression of what was happening that night and how things were going to shake out. And he burned everybody. He burned everyone in the process. And everyone was just such in an emotional state because they did not know what to do because he managed to blindside everybody in the house at some point or another. Putting up Angelica, blindsiding that, like, he don't blindside that side, but like, it just hurts that side. But he puts her up. Obviously, AJ.
Let's go through it. So, like, obviously, Angelica, Dan. We have Danny, who was annoyed with it from the very beginning. We have Blake. We have Ashton. Just that entire side. That's 5 already. And then we have the people who originally put up Tay, Anthony, AJ. 8 already. Right?
And Carly and Tommy are so upset by the fact that, or even upset the people.
Carly and Tommy are just confused. Carly and Tommy are just confused. They've been told these promises. They've been led on, and then this shit happened. Like, imagine how they're feeling. They're absolutely devastated.
Everyone is just upset, and as we've already talked about, like people who have been trying so hard to flip this game again are not going to get what they want. Angelica stays 5-4-0. Tay receiving 4 votes to stay at the end of the day here. Tay and AJ walk out the door, and that does nothing for this game dynamic. Like, Tay was a vote for this uprising, and AJ was sitting in the middle. This does nothing to the dynamic. And Carly and Tommy and Anna and Anthony realize this. They know this, and they're just like, this was a waste. And Lee promised us the world and gave us nothing in return. He's done nothing.
Yeah. The worst thing is Lee knew that from the very moment he put up those nominations. He did absolutely nothing to help himself or them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I just, it wasn't like he realized it like 3-4 hours afterward. Because like, that's something, to be said. He did it and he immediately texted us being like, I fucked this up. Then don't do it. If you know this is the wrong decision, then don't do it. Like, it's very simple.
I can immediately think of 2 things that are better than doing that shit, right? Not say a word, just go through with it. Hey, I fucked up, but I'm just going to keep going. This is this decision. I may as well prove loyalty to one side. The other, prove you fucked up, and back your words up. Do your best to make sure. He said he fucked up, and then continues to fuck up.
He tried to ride this middle. And he said it in his renomination speech, where he's like, there are 2 sides in this house, and neither of y'all want me on your side. And guess what? I'm just going to put up people from both sides and let y'all like hash it out. No, Lee, that's not what you do. You cement yourself on a side. You prove to a side that you're loyal. You already fucked over one side. You don't then go fuck over the other side you haven't fucked over yet. Like, it makes no sense. And all this day he'd been promising to the ultimately losing side here that, like, I'm going to do whatever I can to help you, to then put up the wrong nominee, despite that side telling him you need to put up Dan and not Angelica. And what does he do? Nope, he puts up Angelica and ensures that this side loses. It's infuriating.
It's infuriating for everyone involved. And honestly, I just want to leave. I just want to leave it.
But yeah, I mean, Yeah, I mean, luckily, one good thing does happen out of today. Anthony wins the power of veto. He wins the
Yeah.
blind maze, invisible maze veto. And if you all have not watched his winner reaction, please go watch
Fucking
that.
watch it.
It's glorious. It's beautiful.
It's genuinely one of the best feel-good moments I've ever seen throughout this whole series.
So good.
In a round full of absolute anger and disappointment, that is the one thing that put a smile on everyone's faces. Everyone's. It means so much to him. He's fighting with his fucking life. He absolutely killed it. It's just oh man. And yes, I still have him as my lock screen. Vote for him. Player, I would vote for him.
Favorite. Yeah, and I feel for him. This man went to bat for Lee on day 23, getting people to trust him and to believe in him. Oh, get your sign ready. Get your sign ready, Billy, because it's Josh Consalvo.
Hello. 1 second. I think my audio is not quite. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep, we can hear you. Josh, by the way, I started the stream off holding up this sign. 100%. 110%. I at least would have tried. Okay.
But I think we've universally already talked about that. We think he probably would have been yeeted out in the pre-jury because he's not friends with people.
I would have been like 18th, 17th, 16th. Like I would have had no
because you would have made a move, and then they would have taken you out because you would have done a move.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you want to make a move?
Well, at least I would have made a fucking move.
I don't know what we've discussed, but here's just what I'll say.
We just got to Anthony winning veto.
Okay, then let's continue.
Yeah, so Anthony wins veto, and now we're in a spot now where
also that's the moment of the season. That's the best moment of the season.
Oh yeah, we just said it's the best feel good because, and we were just saying like this man went to bat for Lee on day 23, gets absolutely sidelined by Lee, blindsided, and Anthony has all the emotions. And plus, this feels very reminiscent to BBH11, where Lee tried to get rid of Anthony at the double in BBH11. So like Anthony's feeling all of the emotions here. So for him to win and come out on top after feeling like his game is pretty much done if he doesn't win, which I mean, yeah, he's gone if he doesn't win that veto because Lee wants to save AJ out of nowhere, which is a terrible read on his part because AJ wants nothing to do with Lee, but Anthony still wants to work with Lee.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. There was also a final 2 deal between Anthony and Lee. Was there
at the beginning of day 23, and then Q to 12 hours later when Lee puts him up on the block for the double.
Come on,
like Anthony.
Like if there's anyone that would have, I will say this is that the dynamic between their relationship. If there's anyone that I wanted to win out of the 3 nominees, as much as I absolutely adore AJ and Tay, it was just such an amazing moment, and it's just like Josh said, it's moment of the season. Like it's been bleak for most part, but this got everyone on their feet. This got everyone to have a smile on their face. This gave us someone to absolutely just pull for the remainder of this season. Even when it's over, even when Anthony may be a victor, or even when he may be at the end, we're still pulling for him. Whether he wants to win the game, whether he wants to win via favorite, this dude's freaking cool. Y'all were hyping him up so much earlier on in the season. I didn't know him, and I was like,
he's so
not too
good.
sure.
He's
Like
so
I'm so fucking in love with this man. You have no idea, and I will be singing his praises till the day I fucking die.
He's just so good, and
yeah,
for him to beat Lee at 2 competitions that Lee feels so confident that he won to the point where he's promising things to people, and then for him not to win, it's so good to be at the hands of Anthony not once but twice. So good.
I know this isn't like the most groundbreaking sentence I'm going to say today. In fact, it's actually kind of so obvious. But what is Lee thinking? What is he doing? What is he doing? Like what? Okay, okay. He promised. I think he promised every person on this cast yesterday that he would use the veto on them.
Yeah.
Like
No.
every one of them. There, it doesn't matter if I'm a
And,
block or
and
not.
that's what we were discussing. We were like, the fact that like the reason this house was so emotional is because everyone was blindsided last night because he had promised everyone different things. So when it came out, everyone was like, "What the fuck?"
But then
Like, no one knew.
Not only did he promise everyone, at least promise the 3 nominees a veto play, and whatever, he tried to win.
Yeah.
Why? Why at that point? Why would you tell everyone?
Because he's fucking Lee Farrell. He doesn't have any fucking logic to his gameplay, apparently, to the last fucking 2 days.
Lee, when you watch this and every other tea before this, but especially this one, know that I care for you deeply, and you're one of the greatest people I know. But man, did you make a mess? You made such a mess.
Horrible mess.
It's one of the biggest wastes of an HOH league of any org, not only Big Brother hometowns, but like I've genuinely ever seen. It's just
I've never seen someone tank their game as bad as Lee has done it.
It's just the fact that he didn't commit to either thing. That's the problem. It's not. I know the VLL wants, and to some extent,
which is fine.
We want like to see the like Dan, Angelica, Mitchell side of things have to deal with any kind of issues or adversity, as Mitchell would say. Like I agree with that, but the fact that Lee just try like he didn't even try and play the middle. He just let his feelings get way too much in the way. Like 2 weeks from now, we're going to be laughing about this when it's all said and done. And that's the unfortunate part, is that in the moment, like the unfortunate part is that in the future, it's going to be all laughs, no matter what he does. And so he's just had to like commit to something, and he didn't commit. And therefore he just kind of grabbed noms out of a bag and said, this kind of works. Maybe, I guess AJ, I guess like none of it makes sense. I'm so frustrated by it because, and let me say why I'm more frustrated about it. It's because I think the ripple effect of this is bad for everyone's game. I think it's bad for everyone's game because I don't think it's in 90% of these people's best interest to target Lee Farrell. I don't. I think that Lee should stick around for a while and maybe even be a losing finalist.
This man is the biggest goat that I've ever seen.
But now, like Tommy, let's say Tommy were to win HOH today, I would be so nervous that he decides to target Lee when he has nobody other than Carly, really. And
I think the saving grace of that is that if he is thinking about it, Carly snaps him out of it.
Yeah, that would be great because what Tommy has to do if he were to win today is put up Dan and Angelica. He has to. He cannot put Lee anywhere near the block because I think that it is a waste of time because there is still a world where Lee is kind of in his corner because Lee is just like very poorly just stumbled his way into the middle of everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Hi.
Tommy isn't going to nominate. Tommy's going to nominate. Tommy's going to nominate Dan and Angelica. He's done.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But the problem is like, let's say an Anna wins. What does Anna do? Like these middle ground players, like if an Ashton is to win, like I fear that they're going to take a stupid shot. And like Lee is the biggest goat I've ever seen. Lee has no jury management. Nobody respects him. He will not get a single vote at the end of this game because people like he fucked up this week so badly. And it's so bad of a player he is. The fact that people still want to take him out despite being such a GOAT shows how bad of a player he is. Like he has pissed so many people off to the point they're like, we'd rather see you go than you even be here as a losing finalist. And we'd rather you just be gone because people are tired of the chaos. They're tired of the lies. They're tired of the false hope. They're done. Like they're all ready to snipe him.
I just wanted to make a comment about Ash and Anna. If I was them, I'd throw. There is zero reason for them to take their position right now, especially in this whole situation, right? If you're in the middle and two sides are clearly being drawn, especially this round, after everything that's gone through, don't even bother. Just stay chilling and socialize and strengthen your connections.
Yeah, I mean, and the only person who is as we leave this vote, a lot of people are talking about the two sides here. We have Dan, Angelica, and Hammond on one side. We have Carly, Anthony, and Tommy, who now have an alliance together. They're on this side. Then kind of everyone else is kind of like in the middle. more of the middle people have more preference towards the Dan, Angelica, and Hammond side. Obviously, Anna's in the middle, but has more preference towards the Anthony side of things. But like the only person who's actually looking towards the middle is Dan. And Dan's been talking about this morning. He goes, I'm realizing that these middle ground players prefer Angelica over me, and they need to go. He's like, yes, well, all that other side might be looking at me, but this other side won't save me if I'm on the block, and they need to go.
God forbid he considers Angelica should go, but what?
I was just reading up on that, and the way Dan shut up on my Jokers rankings, love to say it.
Like he doesn't. Yeah, he's the only one looking at the middle. But yeah, Ashton, Anna have no reason to win this at a household. They need to throw this shit out the wazoo and
they
sit
won't.
Back
but they won't.
Pretty. Oh no, absolutely not.
They'll try and win.
Absolutely. And the problem is if they win, Lee's going on the block. If they win, Lee is going up. And because they have no other option. Because they're in the middle and they can't look at either side. They're going to have to put Lee up, and Lee's going to go out as he deserves.
Sure.
Lee and the biggest outlier, probably Tommy. I'm not entirely sure. Correct me if I'm wrong.
If Ashton wins, it's Lee and Carly, almost certainly. Maybe Lee and Anthony. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, those three for sure. Lee's up on the block for sure because he made her very upset last night.
Right.
Like, and I mean, let's just get into it. I mean, Lee's in such a shit spot now with Anthony winning because now he's now sat on call for 2 hours with AJ and Danny, promising to do whatever he could for AJ to stay, and now knows that he can't do that anymore. He's on call with his new alliance of Lee, Carly, and Tommy, which is the Denver photo survivors, because we need to reminisce on that photo again. And basically, and thank God he got on the call with the right people today, because we've talked about on day 23, he called all the wrong people and they talked him out of making the move. Thank God on day 24, he's on the call with the right people because he's like, I feel bad. I want to save AJ. If I put up Ashton, we can save AJ. And Carly and Tommy are like, I swear to God, if you put up Ashton, like, we're done with you. Like, we're not having this shit anymore. And they are like, no. Your options are Dan or Angelica, and you have no other options. We're not going to even entertain another goddamn word out of your mouth. Thank God.
Carly, Tommy, when you say this, exactly, and stand your ground. They stood their ground, said exactly what they needed to say to Lee. They knew Lee was bullshitting, fucking swerving all over the place. Straight to the point. It's what he needs. It's tough love, It's
so interesting it's interesting how we view these games, because like we really want to root. Like that, it got me excited. Like, oh, Tommy and Carly rooting for them, but like, and for some reason we have painted these power players in like, oh, they can't win, they can't do, and that's just the unfortunate reality. And I'm not even changing it. Like, I'm okay with it. Like, it's fine that I think that Mitchell, Hammond, and Dan in this big power structure that has a lot of influence, that I'm rooting against them. Like, and I love them all individually, obviously, but like we just like Carly and Tommy. If this was the real Big Brother house, I think they would have brought Lee into that little that room that has like all the fruit in it, that little storage room. They would have grabbed Lee and shoved him up on to the counter and said, Lee,
and not let him go until nominations.
You are not moving until the veto meeting, and then we're gonna walk out together hand in hand, and you're gonna look at me in the eye, and you're gonna nominate Angelica or you're gonna nominate Dan. That's what they would have done. That's the equivalent of what happened last night.
It's unfortunate because again, Carly and Tommy have done everything right this round, and they lose. They told this man Dan needs to go up, and Anthony, Anna too, all of them have done everything right this round, and they were like, Dan needs to go up. I don't know how many times they told this man Dan needs to go, and he's like, no, Danny will throw a vote on AJ if it's Angelica and it's 4-4-1, it's gonna happen. And Danny straight up tells him, I'm not throwing a vote on AJ. If you're telling me that if I throw a vote on AJ, that I'm losing AJ and Angelica for Tay, I'm not doing it. Anthony tells him, hey, you put up Dan, Ashton will actually consider voting out Dan. If you want Dan to go, right. Dan will happen. If it's Angelica, Angelica is staying. And he eventually gets to the point where he's just going around being like, yeah, Blake Mitchell, it's fine. I'm putting up Angelica. She's going to stay. But whatever. Why is he resorting to just allowing her to stay? He's like, I've already talked about putting up Angelica. I don't want any more blood on my hands. So you're going to keep both Dan and Angelica in this game when people are telling you that Dan would go if you put him up. But you're going to keep both of them in this game. Angelica's already mad at you.
Sorry,
she's going to stay regardless.
Just a question. I know earlier we were talking about Blake and Ashton, I believe, talking about being worried about Dan, but would absolutely 110% save Angelica. Did Anthony know about that, or was that just Anthony reading the situation and saying, hey,
Anthony knows that Blake and Ashton have a stronger relationship with Angelica than they do Dan.
Yeah,
and he's like, hey, Dan might not go out here, but you have a better chance with Dan on the block than Angelica.
Yeah.
And Lee, it is the Arthur meme of what's his sister's name? DW, just looking at the sign being like, this won't stop me because I can't read. It's like these people are literally telling him, put up Dan. Anthony said it. Blake even was kind of like inferring it, like, hey, like Angelica's gonna stay if you want to do that, like do it. But like Hammond was saying it. They're all were like, Angelica's gonna stay, but like if you want to do that, go for it. Like how many people had to tell him that this was so stupid? And after he had tried to like wiggle his way here through all of this bullshit he's been planning, to then put up someone knowing he's sending Tay and AJ out the window. Like after all you've done to promise them, to then put up a nominee that you know is not going to work in their favor, makes no fucking sense. Like this jury management is negative.
Yeah,
it's not even zero.
And it was this weird idea that Danny would waste her vote to force a 4-4 tie by saving age. Like, come on. You know that she's better than that.
Danny literally told him that she wouldn't do that.
Right.
Literally said, I'm not throwing my vote on AJ to lose both AJ and Angelica. I'm not doing that. She's like, if you're making me do that, I'm going to say Angelica.
I think the biggest thing is that literally after nomination ceremony, just the way that Lee acted, the way that he played the game, the way that he had conversations, he gave up. He gave up since yesterday.
Yeah,
and
he gave up. Yeah,
it just seemed like he didn't care. And he was just acting purely based on emotion and just playing this game not for himself but for others. And it's hard. Again, it's hard to blame him. You know, we all love Lee as a person. Like it's as simple as that. As a game player, though, dude, you're gonna cop a lot of shit for this. So
and his reputation is that he is so spineless, because it not only gets around that he made the save AJ chat. Oh, it gets around that he made all these promises to AJ and now is sending him out the door. It gets around that he considered Ashton to go on the block, despite him basically like, I don't even know what the word is, maybe patronizing her, but like he went to her earlier today on day 24 and was like, hey, everyone's been suggesting you as a pawn here, but like I would never put you up. And then it gets around that he obviously wanted to put her up, and she's pissed. She's like, why would you come to me?
That made it 10 times worse.
Yeah, like you're making me feel like I'm worthless in this game by everyone saying I'm going to be a pawn, which people were not suggesting her. Like there might have been one or two people suggesting her, but it was not the entire house. So he's over here making her feel, less than, and then he gets caught lying to her. Like she's just pissed. Like yeah. On top of all of that,
she doesn't even know how to react at first, and obviously fair enough. But it's just like, and it's also weird because it just felt like she was kind of like, from what I read at least, like expecting it as well. Like not expecting it, but like she wasn't shocked by this. Like and like after everything, why would you be shocked?
Yeah, and then it gets even worse. He gets on call with Angelica, and Angelica obviously is fighting for her life here, being like, don't put me up. And eventually it's between her and Ashton, and she goes, fuck it, just put me up. Like, I'm tired of, just dealing with you. Well, just put me up. Then you want to put me up, just put me up. And then it gets around that she volunteers for the block over Ashton, and now it looks like Angelica volunteered versus Lee making a goddamn decision. So not only, he can't even claim this. He can't even claim that he did it, because the story now is that Angelica volunteered to save Ashton, which partly, yes. But my God, dude, there's not 1 ounce of thing he did right this round. Not one thing.
Not a single thing.
Because he can't even look at Anthony in his eyes and be like, hey, I was going to use the veto on you anyway, so it's perfect that you won. It's gone around now that he wanted to save AJ. Like, nothing he's done is good. He can't hide behind anything. Everything he's done.
It's like people say, you threw everything against the wall to see what sticks. Like, he wasn't even close to the wall. He was just throwing spaghetti in an open field, hoping it would stick to a wall that wasn't there. Like, truly, it was ridiculous.
He's that girl in Squid Game who drops the marble.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say.
like he gave up. He's like, people, please come shoot me and end me from this game, please. I'm done. Drops the marble. Like, what the fuck, dude? Come on. Have enough. And like, what was so hard, and I think I said it to Sam, who I'm with, Sam Foser, on production for Instinct Season 4, coming to you starting on Sunday.
BBH15.
I didn't even need to do the advertising myself. Thank you, sir.
Oh, watch me. Like, I was just so infuriated with Lee. I was so angry yesterday because I was like, he has been so upset about ruining his second chance. So what does he do? Goes and ruins other people's second chances. It sent me so angry. I was like, yes. Like Carly telling him, like, you're never going to recover from this. Like, you can't win this game. And Carly was just being straight up with him. And so what does he do? He decides to just play Danny's game. I hate it when people realize that they can't win, just start playing for other people. Stop that shit. Play for you. Even if you can't win, play for you till you are out of this game.
It's still a final 11. Like, there's plenty of time.
Yeah.
It was goes home because he plays for Danny.
Yeah. Like, it was frustrating to watch people be like, hey, you want to do this thing? Like, oh, sorry. Also, I'm here now. Hey. But like, he like, please don't, if you're going to do this, fine, but please don't like implicate me in any of it. Like, please try, don't ruin my game because you want to make this move. And then like, he like threw every single person who said that to him under the bus. Like, Blake, if you're going to put up Angelica, that's fine. But but don't implicate me. Don't tell Angelica that I'm going to do it. Blake runs to Angelica and doesn't tell her anything. And then what does Lee do? He goes to Angelica and says, yeah, I talked to Blake about this. He knows. And it's like, you just told him you wouldn't implicate him. You wouldn't ruin his game. And now you've like, so at least Angelica's like smart. So
yeah, like
she's not going to like destroy Blake over that. I don't know what you all have talked about. I don't want to come on here and sound like a repeated.
No, say whatever you want. We said everything.
I don't want to just repeat things, but while you were talking about the periphery players, this graphic has been living in my head rent free, and I just feel like this is a really good encapsulation of what's going on here. Where like Anna, Ash, and Danny and Blake are like the four corners of this like outside corners of this triangle of Dan, Angelica, and Hammond, and like I don't see these four people playing the game for themselves right now. These four people are playing the game for Dan, Angelica, and Hammond to do well. And I see any of these four people taking a shot at Anthony, Carly, and Tommy in some capacity for Dan, Angelica, and Hammond. Or Lee, which I think would be so stupid, but
I mean, no, I think you're completely right. I mean, we now finally have sides in this house that are formally known by everyone in the house. We know the two sides of the trios of Dan, Angelica, Hammond, and then Carly, Tommy, and Anthony. And then you've got the four people who kind of, have on both sides. Anna's probably the only person who's really on both sides, but those four still have some allegiance to this, the Angelica Hammond trio. And then Lee on his own goddamn island because he's Chernobyl over there. No one wants to go in there unless they're filming a horror movie.
It was so sad to me to like from our perspective to hear Lee and watch Lee recognize that nobody really wants to play the game with him now, but then also to know that it's because of his own actions that is the case. Like Dan and Angelica wanted to play with him and he blew up their spot in the game. Carly, Tommy, Anthony wanted to play with Lee. And then he fucked them over and didn't flip when he said he was going to. And then he ruins their game. Blake is tired of being abused by his close personal friend, David Lee Farrell, in the game. And like Ashton, Danny gets completely screwed here and loses her number one ally, and AJ. Like every single person has a valid reason to not want to play the game with Lee anymore. And it's sad to watch Lee be in that spot because I care about Lee, and it sucks to be completely alone like that. But also, he deserves it. So, and he has earned it. So.
I do have to shout out Danny's quote from earlier. Don't call me your ally. Snapped. Such a good play.
Oh, Danny is ice cold in her DR. She does not have time for anything, and and it's sad because I think Lee has started to realize that he's basically all alone here, and that, you know, Carly and Tommy have like 2% trust in him, but he, I think, has the most trust in Danny. And he's like, Danny, like, I'm sorry I put you in a shit position, but like, if you ever have to like go against me in this game, like, just do it. Don't tank your game for me. And Danny's like, I would never run to her project. Oh, you don't have to ask me twice, bitch. Snipe.
Yeah.
She will gladly, because she's been tired of him for weeks at this point, because she's tired of being roped in with him because he doesn't keep his mouth shut. Oh, that
Yes.
man.
Did you guys?
We've covered everything.
Okay,
We've covered
so
everything.
can I just swing back, since I just am like, I'm just like interrupting this program to talk my shit, but I think that veto comp was a top 5.
Vote for Anthony.
I think that veto comp was a top 5 moment in Big Brother Hometown's history. Like, to like know, just like knowing that he needed, like, people have needed to win and won before, but like, I don't know, there was just something so incredible about watching that, and like, obviously hosting it was great, but I was like so fucking stressed. Like, Carl kept like,
Yours facial reactions were fucking everything. And like, I wasn't keeping count, and then Carl at one point was just like, and I was like, fuck, he's lost. But then you announced he won.
I was so stressed,
so
and
close.
when he won, and then like just the emotion, and then I was getting emotional. It was just, I don't know. It was just one of the. It was the best. It was the moment of the game for me so far.
We also
Like,
okay.
I don't think anything will top. I don't think anything will top it. To be honest, it's going to be hard to top that.
And probably one of my, if not my favorite moments ever of hosting, but also just like in Big Brother history. So Big Brother Hometown's history. So, I love that man so much. And anyone who wants to slander him, you can catch me with these motherfucking hands.
I know. I like. There's people in the game that have really bad reads on him, particularly Ashton, and it's driving me crazy because I'm like, you don't.
No.
You're wrong. You're very wrong.
Yeah, you're just wrong.
because Ashton isn't talking to me a lot, but like Anthony obviously is a little shady, but like he's playfully shady in the house chat, but like she reads it as like, oh, he's upset. Oh, he's pressed. I'm like, no, Ashton, he's just a kind. Like, everyone knows that he's being playfully shady. It's just like she hasn't gotten the time to get to know him that well to know that that's just him.
Yeah.
Like Lee has fucked this man over multiple times, but still will like crack a joke with him in the house chat, and like will still, you know, have fun. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I think Ashton and Angelica have the worst reads about Anthony and like who he is as a player and as a human being, and it sucks. But I'm hoping Anthony somehow can find his way. Anthony, Carly, and Tommy, I'm rooting for y'all so hard. Please, can one of y'all win a fucking competition?
Even an Anna one at this point. Like,
Anna maybe.
I don't think Anna will do what I don't think she will do what we want her to do in terms of like, and I don't think she'll make a good move for her game.
In terms of just targeting like the inner.
She will target Tommy and Carly.
I want Anthony to win an HOH soon and get his real second chance of the HOH. And I think that
didn't he say in his DR yesterday, like, thinking about how if I win this veto, and then if I win the HOH tomorrow, and then I have to do what Lee
could not do.
Or said that he would do and didn't. Like, Anthony knows where to point the gun. Like,
he knows. Dan and Angelica are hitting that block.
I need it. I need it.
And I guarantee you.
I think we all need a power switch. Just play.
Yeah. But listen, I woke up today feeling very good about the game. Like, I've been doom and gloom, understandably so, but like, I have been very doom and gloom about it for the last couple of days. I woke up today feeling very good. Angelica seeing the block, even though we heavily predicted that she was going to stay and she didn't have to fight all that hard, like, her going on the block, Lee actually following through to do that, I think it was good for the game. And I think, like, we saved some people that needed saving. Like, Anthony is like the linchpin of this side. Like, I mean, actually, to be honest, Carly, Tommy, and Anthony are all equally pulling their weight in terms of what they are providing to any sort of counter resistance to Dan and Angelica. But like to me, Anthony just feels so instrumental in that, probably because it was the day he spent the entire day running around gathering that group, including Tay. May she rest in peace. You know, like. So I'm glad that Anthony stayed ultimately though, because I think he's so essential to this resistance, and he's not going to wimp out and chicken out. And if he wins today, which I think he could win, like
He could.
I
Like,
think
he's very
Carly,
analytical.
I think Carly and Dan and Anthony probably have the best shots at doing well on this. I remember that Danny did very well at this last season.
She was second place last season, but I think she knows she doesn't need it. So I
What's
see her
the-
not trying as hard. It is code breaker. It's solving 3 codes, 3 yes or no questions. Danny did very well in this last season, but I think she knows that she's
Did
fine.
Tommy play this last season?
He did.
He did.
He
'Cause I
did
feel like he did badly. Oh, interesting.
I don't
No,
think
wait,
he did very well.
He was always on the podium, so like. I
That's
didn't know
Might
if
have
he-
been. Let me see if I have it. Tommy did very well. He was 4th.
So there you go.
So you just missed out on the podium. I was like, I don't remember, but I don't think he was on the podium.
He was
just
always
off
very
of it.
high last season.
Yeah, he's a very good competitor.
Yeah, he just hasn't
You know,
really gotten that
hasn't-
win. I mean, he never really has gotten that win. He's,
I mean,
like,
the comps
last
he was
season
really
always
good
podium.
at. The comps he was really good at are coming up. I mean, Codebreaker is something he was good at. He was good at 5 Fates of Fortune. Really, just luck wasn't on his side. That's coming up. Like things that he's good at are coming up down the pipeline, which is no shock to anybody. Like those are pretty much staples now that we've done them a couple times. So
Give me any of those,
like
Carly, Anthony, Tommy. Give me one of
I
those
think-
3.
I think they are going to be all poised and do well for this. So,
yeah, I'm feeling good.
and I think Anthony knows that he needs it, and when he's fired up, as we've seen,
He's good.
when he does so well under pressure.
Yeah.
So, like,
I wouldn't mind another one of those moments. It's not going to recreate the original energy of the original, the energy of the original fucking words, but it would just be phenomenal, especially.
and it's his birthday today.
And it's his
So,
birthday.
like,
Yeah.
Happy
Like,
birthday, Anthony.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come
So
on.
like, give us the Anthony win on his birthday, honestly. So
Yeah, what do we need?
I need it!
I had to go. I had to go find it. Please, like, it's Christmas can come early today, and I love Dan and Angelica and Hammond. I love them all dearly, but I need a shot at one of them to like happen.
like a
Because
full shot. Like I need them to lose a number. Like I need
only
them
two
to
of them
lose-
can make the finale. Like
right.
one of them has to go eventually before the finale, and I'm okay with losing one here. Like just to shake it up, because honestly, with Dan gone, Angelica and Hammond have a lot of wiggle room to have to find something else, because I feel like Dan really like connects both of them very well. Like I feel like Dan just really can bounce off both of them. Without Dan there, Angelica's will become a little bit more unhinged. I think Dan's very good at calming her down. And,
Yeah, she's definitely
getting
been
her
a loose
back in
cannon.
space.
She's definitely been more of a loose cannon this season than she was last season.
Playing with friends is hard. Playing with friends is
Yes,
hard.
it
Like,
is.
and that's what's doing it. Like she was such. I mean, she's still a great player, but she was so much better in 14 because she wasn't playing with her friends. She was playing with people like that she knew tangentially, but like not to the extent that she knows Danal and Lee Farrell and etc.
Mhm.
And AJ and Danny now. Like it's harder for her, and it just feels more personal. And like I get it, trust me. And she went to her DR earlier today. She's like, I don't know how y'all are like putting up with me. I'm like, girl, like these emotions are valid. Like playing with friends is difficult. Like you're allowed to be frustrated and upset with your friends when they do something against you. Because
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I had moments like this in Cutthroat 8 where like I just was like just so depleted, because it hurts more when your friends are the ones that are screwing you over. So
And
but,
I
like,
felt this very.
they'll do it.
I felt this very much in Paranoia 4, except I was probably in more so Lee's position than anyone else's. But I do understand I get where he's coming from.
Yeah. Like, It's hard. Like, and playing these as you play your 6th, 7th, 8th one, you run into more people that you see. It just gets tougher and tougher and tougher because you just run into these positions where sometimes you have to work against people that you've worked with in the past, and
I'm ready for a couple things.
We're all game players.
I'm ready for a break after this
Yes.
season, and I'm ready
Absolutely.
for a fresh season of people that are not in the community.
Yes. Please, if you know people who've only played maybe 1 or 2 of these games or none of these
Or
games,
none ever.
please send them our way.
Yeah.
Please. Anthony's wife, if you're watching this, Katie, we'll see you in BBH15.
And wait,
Amanda's mom.
yeah.
Amanda's mom. Tay, when you're watching this back, your partner in crime, the other half of Glitter Money, Ashley.
Did
You
I
want to see her in here? Ash Money, get her in here.
Yeah.
Get them in here.
I'll go wake up my mom right now and ask her to
Get your sister. If y'all have not watched Billy's sister yelling at Billy in ETU8, please.
Yes.
It's so good. Get Billy's sister on BB. So good. But because I have to keep this under an hour so I can stream it, we got to see out of here. But looking forward today, we do have our Codebreaker HOH today. We'll have results around 6 p.m. Praying, manifesting something good today. But we'll have noms later
Come on,
tonight.
Come on, Anthony. You got this, brother. You got this.
Y'all know the drill. But until next time, I think I'll be live tomorrow. I don't think I have a meeting at 10:30, thank God. But I'll see y'all tomorrow at 10:30 live. And until next time, stay thirsty, my friends, and we will all catch you in the Discord. Bye.